Hi everyone, my name is Anna and I'm a graduate scientist from the University of Cambridge and now an educational consultant helping students to achieve their full potential at every stage of their education. And this channel is going to include many videos, including how to improve on your exam technique, revision planning, time management, and how to ace your university applications. So if you like the sounds of this, then please press the subscribe button. And without further ado, let's get into this video on how to ace your Oxbridge interview. The weeks leading to your Oxbridge interview is a very important time where you need to work on enhancing your subject knowledge, improving your interview skills, and developing your problem-solving skills. So I thought I'd share some of my tips with you that helped me in my Cambridge interview. So my tip number one is become an all-rounder in your subject. You should research as much information as possible before your interview. You need to follow the news, read academic articles, and read some books that will broaden your knowledge of your subject. The weeks or the months before your interview is ideal time to do all of this research because it's going to stay fresh in your mind and you can use that subject material for the discussions in your interview. But most importantly, make sure to know about the subject areas you included in your personal statement. So basically know your personal statement inside out. It's a classic mistake when a student puts down a book in their personal statement and then they go to the interview and the interviewer will ask them, so, okay, what is your opinion of this book? What is the bit that you most enjoyed? Or maybe you disagreed with something, and the students just blank and they can't answer that question. So it's quite important if you've put any books or articles in your personal statement, or you mentioned any concepts or topics that you found the most interesting, that make sure that you brush up on those just before your interview. This brings us to my tip number two: have a system of keeping track of all the information that you research. As you're trying to broaden your knowledge about your subject before your interview, it's important to keep track of all the information that you find. Let's say you start reading and researching maybe months before your interview, so by the time you have your interview date, you might actually forget some of the things. So I would really highly recommend having a system to keep track of all the information that you research. For example, you can keep track of things electronically, or I would recommend having a notebook where you can maybe stick the articles in, or you could write summaries of what you read about. And by the time you get to your interview, you can just open your notebook or your electronic notebook and say, okay, these things I've researched before, and that will help you refresh your mind just before your interview. This will allow you to have a great range of topics to discuss at your interview. Let's get on to my tip number three: is practice your interview skills. So it's all great to do the academic research and read around. More importantly, you need to be able to discuss and maybe even argue the information and research that you've done before the interview. So I would really recommend practicing your interview skills firstly with your family and friends. It doesn't have to be about your academic subject. Just ask your friends or family to pick a topic of whatever maybe has been happening on news and discuss it with them. And this will get you more comfortable talking to different people about the variety of topics. Secondly, you obviously want to try to have a subject-specific interview. So a good place would be to start is by going to your teachers and kindly asking them to give you a subject interview. But more importantly, if you want to really practice your interview skills, I would really recommend private interview skills training. And that's what I specialize in now. I help the students to improve their interview skills for Oxbridge, because there are some tricks and tips you can definitely learn before the interviews. So if you would like any advice, then please message me in the comments below and I'll be happy to help you out. This brings me to my tip number four: is change your mindset about the interview. You will be stressed before your interview day. That's understandable. You want to succeed and get into Oxbridge. But what really helped me on the day is to change the mindset of the interview. So first of all, you're going to have many interviews in your life, whether it be for university or for the job interviews. By changing the mindset about your interview, it will help you to keep your stress levels down. So I would treat Oxbridge interview as an opportunity to discuss your favorite subject with top academics of the world. So use that opportunity and just try to enjoy it as much as you can. Also, it's important to keep in mind that the interview is going to be of a supervision-like style. Supervisions are the tutorials where usually one academic will teach 2 or 3 students within a group. So in this case, you're going to have usually 2 to 3 interviewers and they will be interviewing you. So the interview will be like a supervision-like session. Let's get to my tip number 5, and I think probably is the most important, is think out loud and do not say, I don't know. So interviewer only has 20 minutes to assess the way you think, and remember they will be asking you questions, the answer you definitely don't know to. As soon as they realize that you do know the answer straight away, they'll ask you a different question so they can assess your thinking rather than knowing that you know something by heart. So please don't say, I don't know, but start thinking out loud. So first of all, I would recommend slowing down and then, okay, so these are my ideas. I'm not quite sure about this answer, but I would go on by solving it this way and just think out loud. If you're going the wrong way, the interviewers will help you and direct you in the right direction. Or if you are going in the right direction, they might give you a little bit more information and help you to solve the problem or a question. And remember, this is what supervisions are like at Oxbridge anyway. So it's really important to show your thinking and don't be quiet and just think out loud and try to gather your thoughts as much as you can. So my tip number 6 is be polite and thank your interviewers for the opportunity. It's important to remember that the interviewers will also be assessing whether you're a great fit for Oxbridge environment and whether you're a good fit for their college as well. So you might go to the interview and think, actually, I absolutely hated it. And it's absolutely all right to think that, but it probably means that you probably don't like the teaching style of Oxbridge. And that's okay. There are so many other great universities you can go to and the teaching style will be slightly different. So it's important to be as polite as possible in your interview, smile as much as you can, and try to keep your emotions down. Try to show your personality as much as you can. Then the interviewers will be deciding whether you're a good fit for their college or not. If they decide that you are very good academically, but you're not quite right fit for their college, remember you might get a chance of being put in the pool and being interviewed by a different college. So this brings us to my final tip, number 7, is don't dwell after your interview. So remember, you've put so much work so far and well done getting to your interview. So many people wouldn't even get an offer of an interview. So remember, you really did really well done. Please try not to overthink after your interview. Usually, if you think that you did really, really well, actually sometimes means that you didn't do so well. And the reason for that the interviewers didn't push you far enough in the questions because they thought you might not be able to do them. If, on the other hand, you walk out of the interview and you think, gosh, that was really, really hard, but I really enjoyed it, then you probably did very well. Okay? Because that means that the interviewers were able to ask harder questions from you. So, but either way, you can't really predict what's going to happen. So I would really recommend try to not think about it. Don't compare yourself with the other candidates and try to enjoy your festive break as much as you can. It's going to be well deserved. And wait for your letter from Oxbridge. I think it usually comes around like first week of January after the new year. I hope you find these tips useful. I wish you guys all best of luck. You worked so hard so far. So it's the final push with the preparation for your interview. And then after that, you can have a lovely break, and which will be well deserved. If you have any questions or you would like any extra tips or advice on Oxbridge interviews, then please drop me a message or leave a comment below. I'd be very happy to make extra videos on specific subjects if you'd like so. So please do message me below, and good luck in your interviews. See you in the next video. Bye bye.